pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Bierstead,
Here.
Bjork,
Here.
Carroll,
Here.
Downing,
Here.
Morset,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Odine.
Okay, next we have approval of the minutes from the October 22nd workshop and the November 12th meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I have one clarifying statement I'd like to make on the
I
workshop.
need a motion first.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay. First and second, go ahead, Sean.
Mr. Mayor, I just have a quick clarifying statement for the budget workshop number 2 we had. I had recommended that the city's electric utility adopt the utility art box program. They said yes, they are going to do it. My intent is that they include all our city designations and themes with it: Bee City, Tree City, Bird City, Monarch City, and all the rest of them. The reason you don't see it in the actual budget is that it is paid for by a small amount of contributions specifically from a fund from WPPI called Community Contributions. We get from them for being a member. So it'll be funded. We did our due diligence as a council and reviewed it properly. I just want to make that clear. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, anybody else have anything on the minute? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Oh, do we need to do a roll call with,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I don't think she was against.
Go ahead, Amy.
Bjork,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Bierstead,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Downing,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Odine.
Yes.
Okay. Next, approval of the bills with Mr. Carroll.
Mayor and council, I motion for approval of payment of bills in the amount of $1,466,536.44, subject to comptroller.
Second.
First and second, any questions on? Okay, Amy?
Downing,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bierstead,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Bjork,
Yes.
Morset.
Yes.
Okay, next move on to public comments. If there's anybody in the audience has anything they'd like to say, come on up. Okay, we'll move on to consent agenda. First thing is acknowledgement of the following minutes. We have the Planning Commission from 10:1. We have the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board from 10:15. We have the Library Board from 10:07. The Police and Fire Commission from 5:20. The Bid Board from 8:13. Utility Advisory Board from 10:21. The West Central Wisconsin Biosolids Facility from 10:17. Next is a resolution approving the final plat for Oak Hill First Edition. Next one is a resolution approving the development agreement with Radio Road Development LLC. Next one is a resolution approving the reconditioning expenditure for the Vector truck. Next one is a resolution approving a consultant to prepare a Safe Streets for All action plan. Next one is a resolution approving shared ride taxi operating grant application to the state of Wisconsin Department of Transportation for 2025. Next thing is a resolution authorizing city administrator to negotiate and approve reimbursement agreements between the city of River Falls and Pierce and St. Croix counties regarding shared ride and taxi funds for the year 2025. Next one is a resolution approving the purchase agreement with Nick Wilson for property located at 132 Vine Street. Next one is a resolution to extend the limited term letter of site control to Sinair for city-owned property adjacent to the Man Valley Corporate Park. And the last thing is a resolution approving the procurement exception for the flexible facility grant. And I will take a motion on this. Oh, I'm sorry. Who wants to pull stuff?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull number 7.
Okay,
I want to pull number 9.
okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move approval of consent agenda item 2A through G, 3 through 6, 8, 10, and 11.
Second.
Okay. First and second, any other questions or comments on this? Okay. Amy?
Carroll,
Yes.
Bjork,
Yes.
Downing,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Bierstead,
Yes.
Morset.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Downey, you pulled number 7.
Resolution approving share ride taxi operating grant application to State of Wisconsin Department of Transportation for 2025. I know this has been kind of a hot topic and an area that we've worked to try to move forward and improve as a city. It's very difficult for cities to improve in this area. I was just hoping our city administrator would be willing to talk about some of the difficulties. I know that not having a lot of companies who can even do the bid is part of why we have these difficulties. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is for the grant application.
Yeah.
And I think I can speak specifically to the funding part of it and a little bit to the operating, but let me get to this item here. So I'll make sure I speak to the right one. So the item that you're have in the packet tonight is for the operating grant revenue from the state of Wisconsin for shared ride taxi. Generally speaking, state of Wisconsin gets money from the federal government transportation fuel tax for both federal and state, is my understanding. And then a fair amount of that is passed along in expenditures for roads and infrastructure, hard infrastructure. And then there's also some operating and capital granting for what people consider kind of traditional mass transit fixed route buses. And then for communities that are not on a fixed route system or not eligible for the entitlement money for that, we have shared ride taxi, what we call shared ride taxi. Those are essentially door-to-door ride programs using community-owned vehicle, and then usually contracted for operations. So this is the grant to help assist us in operating there. We are pretty constrained in how we can operate shared ride taxis. So there's a lot of considerations, and there's assurances that we provide the federal government about how we're going to operate it. There's assurances we provide about not taking away private sector's ability to provide other services, competing with school buses and a number of things. And that essentially means that there's very few operators left to work with. We've been fortunate to have an operator that we feel is competent and provides good service to us. But we frankly have limited funds to provide an expansive service across the area. So we're still relying, this is a fairly heavily subsidized. If you look at the estimate table, if you operate about 9,000 hours a year, it requires about $400,000 of operating. And of that, only about 50,000 currently is from fare revenues, and the rest comes from grants, and then city share. And then you just approved a resolution authorizing me to try to go work with the counties because they provide about 17,000, so not too much for that service, which that allows us to extend the service beyond the city limits. Theoretically, we're getting some reimbursement from the county for that. So that's kind of where we're at with taxi. We continue to work with the University program out of the University of Madison. They did one study that looked at combining the operations either functionally or practically with New Richmond, Hudson, and River Falls, who all operate similar and have similar grants. And then the next phase that they'll be working with under Community Services Director White is kind of the next step of how that looks. How would you implement a system like that, and looking at some fair issues for us. River Falls is the lowest shared ride taxi that I think we can find as far as rates. So the council's been pretty aggressive in keeping the rates low for the users, and then that means our subsidies climbed a little bit each year, with the knowledge that the council's asking us to kind of look at a long-term solution about what that would be. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. I appreciate the detailed response. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I move approval for consent agenda item number 7.
Second.
Anybody else have anything on 7? Amy?
Miller,
Yes.
Downing,
Yes.
Bierstadt,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Morissette,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Bjork.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Morissette, you pulled number 9.
Yeah, I want to just talk about this for a second. In the past, I voted in favor of property acquisition because it met 2 criteria that I apply to property acquisition decision-making, if you will. First, that the property fits into a larger project that has a clear project need and/or timeline. And second of all, the property can sustain itself economically through rents. Examples are the houses in the Jug Handle. Those are rented out currently. We bought those because at one point, we very seriously looked at putting the fire department there. That changed when we got the federal government funding that has to be used now in Pierce County, so that's one of the reasons there. The house on Second Street, which we just bought on the corner of Second and Division, will be needed for overall traffic flow for Main and Division, as well as the Second and Division and the St. Bridget's access. And that is fully rented or rentable to my knowledge. There's 4 houses over on Union Street that will be needed at some point to expand the parking lot, the library. All these meet that criteria. That's one of the reasons I voted for those. This property meets neither of these criteria. The property would require substantial improvements to be rentable, and repairs are not economically feasible. The property would also have to be demolished in addition to the $125,000, an estimated cost of $30,000 to remove the property, remove the foundation, and restore it back to essentially vacant land. And while there's developers that have said they'd be possibly interested, there's no project on the table other than concept plans that were derived on January 28th of 2020. Furthermore, staff has workflow demands that would prevent them from working on this project. We have other things that we want them to work on, especially since this would be starting at square one. While I have voted in favor of strategic land acquisitions in the past, I do not believe this property acquisition meets the criteria I mentioned. I also do not believe that the residents want us to speculate on land that has no clear project and cannot sustain itself while we wait for a project plan. So I will be voting no.
Okay, anybody else have anything on this?
That's what I was gonna say.
First, hang on one second.
Well, if I make a motion, it'd be to deny, so
Well,
maybe
no.
somebody else should make a
Oh,
motion.
that's true.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move approval of the resolution approving the purchase agreement with Nick Wilson for property at 132 Vine.
Second.
Okay,
He just said what I was gonna say.
okay. Okay, anybody else have anything? Okay, Amy?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to point out that this is an opportunity to focus on multifamily housing in that area that's been identified in the campus corridor project planning process. And by doing so, it will meet part of our housing plan by opening up stock within the city, specifically for the college area. So I'll be voting in favor of this.
Okay, anybody else have anything on this one? Okay, Amy?
Morissette,
No.
Bierstadt,
No.
Bjork,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Downing.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have the comptroller's report. Ms. Odine?
Yes. The comptroller's report for October 2024. General fund revenues through the end of October were $10,765,092, or 79% of total budgeted revenues for the year. Revenues in October included $25,065 for building permits, $25,214 for special state grants, such as the State of Wisconsin Riverside Drive Mill and Overlay, and $11,475 for plat review fees. Expenditures through the end of October were $10,602,562, or 78% of total budgeted expenditures for the year. As of October 31st, net revenues over expenditures were $162,530.
Thank you. Okay, next move on to administrator's report. If Scott has anything, or if anybody has anything for Scott?
While you're thinking of your questions, or maybe thinking you'd like to get moving, I just want to say briefly, I do want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. and express some thankfulness for the staff that I get to work with every day and see do some pretty amazing things. I've been listening to Willie Nelson on a loop now with our roundabout video. So every time I turn it on, it makes my day. So it only takes small things to make city administrators happy. So roundabouts with Willie Nelson music is pretty cool. So just we've accomplished just a ton of stuff this year, and I really appreciate that we still have some time left this year, and we're still going to get some more things done. But it seems like a good time to say thanks for all the support of the council, just terrific staff, and a community that keeps saying yes to lots of things, including pouring a lot of their heart and soul into the planning efforts that sometimes take 10 years to see to fruition. So glad that those people 10 years ago worked on the Cascade Avenue plan, and now they get to see that is coming to fruition. So keep showing up, keep helping us plan, and we'll work through those plans and get it done because we got some pretty terrific staff that I'm thankful for.
Okay, anybody else have anything for Scott? Okay, I just got a couple good news things to talk about. What Scott had just was mentioning, the South Wasson Lane reconstruction project was completed last week, and South Wasson Lane is now open to traffic. The city partnered with Wisconsin Department of Transportation to reconstruct South Wasson from East Cascade to Cemetery Road. Among the biggest improvements was a roundabout at the intersection of East Cascade and South Wasson, which will help better support increased traffic flow as we grow on that side of town. And there is a ribbon cutting ceremony next, I believe it's Thursday the 5th, December 5th at 3 o'clock. I'd also like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. A reminder that City Hall will be closed this Thursday the 28th and Friday the 29th for the Thanksgiving holiday. So everybody take care. Okay, next we will move on to, I have a couple appointments I'd like to make. Let me get them here. Let's see, I want to the Board of Appeals, I want to reappoint Eric Amundson through November of 27. I'd like to reappoint Andrew Brown through November of 27. And to the Business Improvement District, I would like to reappoint Amy Halverson through December of 27. And I will take a motion on this.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we accept your appointments.
Second.
First and second, anybody have anything? Amy?
Downing,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Bjork,
Yes.
Bierstead,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Odine.
Yes.
Just a friendly reminder that these are all reappointments because I have nobody new to put in these spots. So if anybody's interested, please get a hold of me. We have lots of boards and it's a great way to find out what's going on in your city. Okay, next we will,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor, oh, sorry, Amy?
Bierstead,
Yes.
Bjork,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Downing,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Odine.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, take care.